Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. I'm contractually obligated to read this. So viewer discretion is advised. Like legitimately advised.
Now they off with Mike. Now they off with Mike. Now they off with Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here to the Mikecap. This is not the nightcap. This is all of the cap with more of the mic and less of the night, but technically the night because it is at night for most of you, or late afternoon, early evening. I don't know where you might be viewing from, but welcome to the second installment of the Mikecap. As you see here, the nightcap has been deleted, in the words of Matt Hardy, and we now have the Mikecap. And we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from September 8th, 2025. Just last evening, 24 hours ago, I actually went the old school route here today. I was unable to finish watching Raw last night due to getting in super late and being exhausted. But I have it right here. There's notes. I have notes. I'm prepared for the open note test if this was still college. Monday Night Raw. Rick's here. He's here to get raw. Funny enough, Rick, good brother of the show. Make sure you go follow him. Seriously, him and his good brother, Mark from Booking Like a Mark. You got to go follow my fellas because they are incredible. And Rick gave me the genius idea, and it'll be starting next week. Where we will have the Mikecap, but we will have the Mikecap with Rick and hopefully Mark, because they will be live in living color, not the band, in living color as in there in real life, at Monday Night Raw in Springfield, Massachusetts, home and where John Cena grew up for John Cena's final appearance in Springfield, Massachusetts. Mark is just popping in to say hi before bailing at the first mention of AJ Lee. Well, Mark, you at least have, well, let's see, we're gonna go double AJ set here. So it's gonna be AJ Styles, then we're gonna move into AJ Lee, according to the notes here I took today. So when we get to your least favorite AJ, I would expect nothing less. OTT in the building, over the top talk. Mike got us confused with the days. Yes, I did. I did get confused. It's the jet lag. You know, I went east, I came west, and now I don't know where the fuck I am. Does it ever drive you crazy just how fast the night changes? I love it, Mark. What you gonna do, Mark, next week on Raw? Cena went to school in Springfield. Yes, Rick also alumni out there from Springfield University, which is where they will be at next Monday. I have to say, Rick, seeing the shirt for John Cena's final date there, I think we talked about it off the air in our shoot lives. Big fan of it. I really like the design. I love some of the Cena shirts have been really great. Some of them have been not so great. TKO already price gouging the TD Garden show. Now, over the top talk, I'll be honest with you, that does not surprise me whatsoever. It is now it's a custom. Like, everyone should get used to being reaching deeper into their pockets to go to a wrestling show. To be honest, they also are price gauging because of the John Cena final appearance. I mean, that is a huge, easily marketable way to gauge and gouge you out of those prices, because everybody who, maybe even if you haven't watched WWE and wrestling for the last 10 years, you probably know who John Cena is. And you might want to see him wrestle one last time. So it doesn't surprise me. I felt the absolute hurt in my pockets when I went to Raw back in June. I can't even remember. It's been so long ago. I paid what I would usually pay for first row of the 100 on camera side. That's what I would pay normally. I had to pay that for middle of the upper deck. I've never sat upper deck at a show in Phoenix at this very arena. It hurt. It was like a reality hit, you know? Funny enough, SmackDown will be out in Arizona, live from Arizona State University's campus in October. Those tickets were ugly as well. Halloween Havoc, though, the next night in Prescott Valley, Arizona, very affordable. I bought tickets on release because they were $100 for aisle seat 100, like super close to the ring, not floor, but elevated. And they went down because they weren't selling that great. I could have got them for $80. So depends on the demand. Supply and demand is a huge thing. I feel like I don't have to explain that to a lot of people. But it hurts. So next week, getting back to it, the Mikecap will return again on Tuesday. It'll be probably Tuesday evening. It will not be live. It will not be live. We will be recording that. Myself, Rick, and possibly Mark, if Mark is willing to come unleash hell with us. And they'll have exclusive footage. We'll have them talking about their experience at Raw as well. Make sure you do follow them on social media, because they will be live posting Instagram videos, Reels, TikToks, Twitter videos, all of that stuff, kind of backstage, kind of live day vlogging. So make sure you check them out, subscribe to them, show my brother some love. But let's talk some Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw had for a long time started the same way for a lot of weeks. I think it was 5 weeks in a row. We'd start with the Vision talking, and then the Vision causing chaos in the main event. Last night, we started off with the Usos. Great opening promo from the Usos. Everything felt right in the world that the Usos were together and doing their promos. I love their promo work when they're together, because one will say a sentence, the other will finish the sentence, and then they'll go back and forth. Like, great line that I picked up from Jimmy. When he's like, Braun and Braun, I know about J&J security, but we got PB&J security. Pop me. Absolutely pop me. Started chuckling. This was a very, very interesting development with the Vision, because now the Vision is beefing with Roman and the original bloodline. So that means one thing and one thing only. Two things only. Three things only. It's going to be the Vision versus the bloodline in War Games. The weirdest part of that is who are going to be the final five for each side. Because we know Roman, we know Jimmy, we know Jay, probably Sammy. Who's your mystery fifth? And then on the Vision side, who are going to be the other members? Now, they could hit us with a curveball and do Seth, Becky, Braun, and then have a fifth. And then they could do the same on the bloodline side. It could be Roman, Jimmy, Jay, woman, surprise, John Cena. Never been in a War Games. It's a retirement tour. He's going to be there. Let's do it. Owen will be going to see Cena the week after MSG. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Won't feel right for long. Wait till the 20th. Yeah. It's the 20th. Next 2 Saturdays from this Saturday. Next Saturday, actually. Holy shit. I actually won't even be watching WrestlePalooza. I will be at Universal Studios. It's Mrs. MOWN and mine's anniversary that Monday. 5 years. 5 years. Count them. 5 years. I should have fucking hit a spinneroonie on Mondays, is like Booker T, because it's 5 years. So we're going to go to Horror Nights. She's never been. I've never been. And bonus, we get to see the Wyatt Six house. So make sure you check out my social, because I'll post my walkthrough of the Wyatt Six house. Now, don't make fun of me when we go and you see that video, because I am prone to jump scares. I'm not a scary movie guy. I don't like watching scary movies. I don't want that evil juju on me. Keep it away from me. I don't need it. You know what I mean? But I will be jumping, and you will see my reaction, and it will be hilarious. Throw Drew in the Vision. Why not? Let's just talk. Throw Drew in there, but maybe throw Drew a title. Fuck, he's earned it after this last year and a half, honestly, with all the shenanigans and the storyline with Punk. And I mean, dude, Drew is like the biggest slap in the face for me personally with the company right now, is because of how good Drew was and then how bad his booking was after everything because they didn't know what to do. They didn't want to put a title on him. They didn't want to put him in the world title picture, which, to be honest, I don't care that we have a Cody Rhodes. I don't care that we have a Seth Rollins, and I don't care about all of that. No matter what, whatever world title it is, Drew should be in that division and fighting for that title. And to be honest, I would say 60% of the time, he should be winning the title in a match. So off subject, but Drew in the Vision, I don't think it works. Egos don't go well. The one that I think works is Ethan Page, but he doesn't need him. Ethan Page is downright good by himself, but even better with Chelsea recently with NXT. And tonight, NXT spoiler, Tyler Breeze is back. I haven't watched NXT. I saw it on social media. I'm not going to pretend to cover it, but my boys cover it over on the, on the OTM network. The NXT night shift is live after NXT concludes in about 3 minutes, but don't go there. You can throw on a dual screen and watch it, but don't leave the Mikecap because you haven't got your weak cap of Mike. Opening segment, better than usual. Braun and Braun end up yapping too. LA Knight comes out. It leads to LA Knight versus Bronson Reed in the main event. AJ Styles cut a promo during commercial break that we, the poor, did not get to see. AJ Styles seemed like he was implying that he was being held back by the company. Specifically one man. I think we all know who that man is. The man is Triple H or Triple Fraud or Big Nose, as I've seen him called on social media, which is rude. That's mean. Watch out. Listen. AJ cuts this promo, and hello. That's what you get when you're live. Chair falls out from under you. Triple H heard me and said, no, cut the chair. AJ Styles, savvy veteran, 47, 48 years old. 40, maybe he's almost 50. He might even be 50. Guy still can go. He put on a damn good match with Americano tonight. Or last night. Tonight. See, nights are confused. That was a really solid Monday Night Raw match, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you have your opinion of it. Everyone has their opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, but sometimes they stink. I thought it was a solid Raw match. Styles wins in a great sequence at the end that we saw a Hurricane Rana reverse into a roll-up, re-reversed into the Styles Clash. He gets the win. I was right, though, because Sunday night late, I did tweet when the match was announced for Monday that I expect to see El Grande Americano Trace or Uno get involved in this. I was correct. It was Trace, Americano Trace, who I believe we have speculated to be Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight. Shame for Pete Dunne. He did come out to kind of run interference, but Dragon Lee actually stopped the third Americano from costing AJ this match, so he wins. Now, Americano has been kind of playing some double duty. Kaiser has been in AAA. He just had a match the other night, I believe, against Aerostar. He's going to be at Worlds Collide, I guarantee it, next Friday. Not next Friday. This Friday, the 12th, Worlds Collide, NXT AAA Vegas. I believe it's 10 o'clock Eastern or right after SmackDown. So what I'll probably do Friday is I don't know what the plans are now. I don't work Saturday morning, which means maybe we'll do a SmackDown nightcap, or we'll say fuck the nightcap for SmackDown and we'll do a Worlds Collide watch along. I like the sound of that. Worlds Collide watch along Friday for Worlds Collide AAA Friday night. It'll be a late night for all of us. Why not? Let's do it. So that's been set in stone. I'll have the social media guy tweet that out here, aka me, when I'm done with the show. So Friday we'll do the Worlds Collide watch along, but we expect to see Americano involved. Dirty Dom will be there. Later on Raw, we will see the Dirty Dom interaction with the Judgment Day. And he kind of threw a little bit of a fit, towards them. And to be honest, it's coming. Now, get your minds out of the gutter. What's coming is the Dirty Dom leaving the Judgment Day. How they are going to tell this story, I am intrigued to see. But he needs to leave. I don't need Dom in the Judgment Day anymore. At this point, I would like him to end up being the leader of the Americanos and have him run a faction just stupid. At that point, like, I don't want Dom with the Judgment Day anymore. And I would like Finn Balor to wake up and get serious. And I want to see them write us some good creative for Finn. Raquel, 100%. I need to talk about it because that is the next match. Lyra and Raquel, in my opinion, was a very good Raw weekly television match. Lyra looked like $1 million, okay? $1 million last night. The crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Lyra." Raquel, she'll never see this. She does not care about the mic praise here. But I have nothing but positive things to say about Raquel Rodriguez. And this is coming from me, who just 2 years ago, when I had my podcast and I was getting into this world and the industry, whatever you want to call it, I was super anti-Raquel. I would say, what do you give me? You give me nothing. You don't serve me anything. You serve me dry, well-done steak with frozen mashed potatoes. That's what I get served when I would see Raquel. Now, when I see Raquel out there balling with Lyra and the women in the division, I'm feeling like I'm getting myself a nice steak that's cooked to perfection with some delicious mashed potatoes with the gravy, and everything's well seasoned and it's a quality meal. I feel fulfilled watching Raquel wrestle now. Hands fucking down. If I tried to do year awards, in the beginning, it's so hard to write all this shit down and keep a logbook but personally, most improved, Raquel Rodriguez, because that match with Lyra was damn good. All right, Lyra loses, but it was in a fantastic finish where Lyra went for that leg drop that she rarely uses, and Joe Tess, who's now on commentary on Raw with Corey until Wade is back, nailed this. He nailed the story in the match perfectly. He eloquently put it. Lyra goes up to the top to go for the leg drop that we see her rarely use, and then Raquel capitalizes on it because Lyra took too long, because Raquel had been working the back the entire match up to that point. Lyra takes too long. Raquel grabs her because she's a powerhouse and hits her with the Tejana bomb 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Roxanne was involved in a few points in this match, but from its core, this was a really good match for me. Dare I say, from what I saw on Raw last night, Lyra and Raquel could be your mouthing off with Mike match recommendation of Monday. That I will stake my claim on. Dami Feds with a yup. Are you Dave from Storage Wars? Yup. I was watching Storage Wars the other weekend. Sorry. Toby, what's up, homie? What's good, Toby? Good to see you, man. Appreciate all of you guys for being really understanding that I had to cancel the nightcap last minute last night. I know how much I love doing the nightcap, and I always love seeing all of you guys and how much you guys enjoy me yapping about the graps and the engagement and all of the comments and all of the things that we talk about. I love it. It's, I have the tagline from Mouthing Off with Mike, the only wrestling podcast that, and then I insert something, but realistically, Mouthing Off with Mike, I am the only wrestling podcast that uses the podcast as a form of therapy, because it really is. It's therapeutic to come out here and just talk with all of you guys. Now, of course, as I get into this next match, we know Mark, Booking Like a Mark, will hop out here because I'm about to talk about AJ Lee. AJ Lee. Let's light it up. Let's light it up. Light it up. Anyway. She made her triumphant return on SmackDown. I posted a video on social media, on TikTok and on Twitter. I didn't post it to Instagram like an absolute fucking moron, but I posted it on TikTok. It was Friday night. I would watch SmackDown on the plane ride back to New York. And it was, late as fuck, right? So people are sleeping, it's pitch black, and I am, phone on, watching SmackDown, giggling and chuckling to myself like an absolute little kid, kicking my feet all quietly, doing the little toe taps because I can't go fuck yeah on the middle of the plane because then they're gonna think I'm fucking. Then they're gonna tackle me, and next thing I know, I'm on a no fly list, and then there we go. Then there goes ever going to a WrestleMania internationally. But I could not express the feelings. I absolutely love AJ Lee. I have loved AJ Lee from the first time that I saw her in that NXT, the early NXT version, and then the impact that she made on the women's division. I will tell you something right now. And full disclosure, you can't hate me for what I'm about to say, but AJ Lee, I cared about women's wrestling growing up. I did, but I had been so accustomed to Kelly's strip expose on ECW at Sci-Fi and bra and panty matches and diva matches going 2.5 minutes and the diva search. Like that is what I grew up on. This heavy sexualization of the women to make money, which at a time, especially where women were not getting those opportunities and were not on the marquees and would not main event. And at that point, up to that point, you had maybe 1 or 2 women's main events. And that was dating back to the early 2000s with Lita and Trish. So AJ Lee coming into the company and just being the first woman that WWE is willing to put her on the marketing and put her on the marquees and the merchandise and have merch and give her time and promo time and let her wrestle like a male would at that time and not limit her. Now, obviously, she had been a valet a few times and, she had kind of played up those stories and she had been with Big E and Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan and then, obviously CM Punk and costing, him the title. And there was this other side of it. But AJ Lee is so very important to the history of the last 20, realistically, is important to the last 10 years, but even more so before that, right? So I'd say, last 13 years, we'll call it. She is so important to those women, the women that you see now, the Tiffany Strattons, the Raquels, the Roxannes, obviously she's not with the company anymore, but the Cora Jades, look at women on the independent scene like Brittany Brooks, who were vocal on social media with her return, and saying like, she's the reason why I became a wrestler. And Lyra as well, the reason, her and Becky and Bailey and AJ Lee is synonymous with some of your favorite wrestlers in WWE, in AEW, in TNA, and in the independent scene. So to see her make her return Friday night in Chicago, her new hometown, obviously we know her and Punk are married now for 10 years more. We know of on the unfortunate side of the business and how, she just couldn't do it anymore. And she retired. Her mental health, she even talks a lot about it. Mental health was the key focal point here of this promo. Obviously, we sell a match at WrestlePalooza for ESPN, the worldwide leader of sports, aka Disney. But AJ Lee is very important to the women's wrestling. It's been a heavy week already. It has been. It really has been. Seth has been involved in the 3 biggest returns: Rhodes, Punk, and AJ Lee. Ain't that a testament to Seth Rollins and who he is as a person, as a wrestler, as a character, as someone that we need to kind of give him praise? Like the outfits are silly and stupid, but neither here nor there. AJ Lee, her crew bridged the gap to the Evolution era. Igdami Feds, couldn't have said it better myself. And I think a lot of people will go into that. You sum it up perfect. Most of us had Divas champs and not women's champs, right? A lot of, wrestlers, like we had the women's championship, right? We go back to the early 2000s, we get into, kind of like the 2010 era, right, of wrestling. And that's when things switch. The women's championship, that old women's belt that we've seen Lita and Trish and, Mickey James carry. even at that point, the women were still doing bra and panty matches and doing these short matches, but it was the women's championship. It was not the Divas championship. They were referred to as Divas for as long as I can remember, but when that switch happened, they became comedy. They became the comedy relief. We had plenty of comedy relief in that era with Santino Marella, and think about the things that they had to kind of overcome. Look, prime example, Santino Marella. Santina Marella. They used a man in a women's battle royal, and he won it out of all the women on the roster. Now, funny, haha, yes, but funny said as well for those women who dedicate their lives and their bodies to this sport. So she is, in fact, so important to what we have today and how we bridge that gap. Like Dami said, she was the last Divas champs to not be a diva. I would also argue, there are other women in there. Like Charlotte wasn't a diva. She was a wrestler, but she's the last Divas champion, right? But I agree. She was the last Divas champion that wasn't a diva. And she wasn't. Her motto was always crazy is her superpower. And now, she's kind of reworked that as the years have gone on and she's aged and wisened up in her years. Now it's, her mental health is a superpower, right? And that's a lot of what we saw here tonight. Now, we did see the selling of this match. Becky does come out, of course, and basically say, I want my title back, because AJ still is skipping around with the Intercontinental Women's Championship. And it's going to be incredible when AJ Lee becomes an Intercontinental Champion, because the lineage of that belt will be Lyra, Becky, AJ Lee. Ain't that something up to that point? And then whoever beats AJ Lee for that title, she will in fact make that woman a star because of who she is and the caliber and the aura that she brings to WWE. And good point, Jordan. A cheer for therapy. Yes, therapy is very important. Number one thing, I will always say, I'm an advocate for mental health. I myself struggle with my mental health. We all struggle with it. Have someone to talk to. If you don't have anyone to talk to, and you're dealing with some things and you need someone that you need to vent, you need to talk to someone, reach out to me. I will be there for you. I will talk to you. If you need someone, if you're dealing with some crises, reach out to me. I will gladly help you. But seriously, mental health is a very important thing. And it is incredible to say that in the year of 2025, that AJ Lee, after 10 years, returns to the company and has a promo all about the importance of taking care of oneself and the importance of mental health. And the crowd chanted therapy. And that is an incredible testament. Suddenly the belt has meaning. I will say, Rick, I'm going to argue you and Mark on this, that Lyra made that belt special. She did put out some good work. In the beginning, they throttled her to the back, and it was unfortunate. But when she would get in that ring, she would ball out for that title. The feud with her and Becky did elevate the Women's IC Championship. Overall, the belt does have meaning now because AJ Lee has her sights set on that championship. You don't need to insert AJ Lee right into the Women's World title picture, because we know that picture is occupied right now by Stephanie Vercaer and Io Sky. Now, I have a theory on that. We'll talk in a little bit when we talk about the Nikki Bella Asuka match. But on the AJ Lee subject, Jordan asked, when do you think AJ Lee beats Becky? WrestlePalooza is next Saturday. Our next premium live event is October in Perth, Australia for Crown Jewel. November, I believe we have Survivor Series and a Saudi show. So if I were to give my best assumption for you, Jordan, my best guess, and you can come back and tell me if I'm right or not at MOWM_podcast. My best guess is going to be that Perth show in Australia. That would be my best guess. Yeah. My best guess. Perth, Australia, AJ Lee beats Becky for the title. My next second guess depends on what we do for War Games. If it is mixed gender, Survivor Series. but I think that's too long. I think we need, I think it'll be Australia because that's a big, they want to have a big show for Perth. No Saudi, just 2 Saturday nights main event. Oh, okay. It could be a Saturday night's main event. What if AJ Lee can't travel to Perth? Then I'll delegate to Rick on this. Those Saturday night main events. We have one. He's right. We have one October 31st is in Salt Lake City, Friday night SmackDown, Halloween. Saturday the 1st is a Saturday night's main event on Dia de los Muertos. Maybe I'll come on to the show and have my face painted like a candy skull. But I would say, yeah, the other one in DC, and that's rumored to be Cena's final match is that Saturday night's main event. Unrelated to that, I do want to see that Saturday night's main event. If it is Cena's last appearance, I'd like that show just to be all Cena. And I think it's someone else has tweeted about that as well. Not stealing their idea. I agree to that concept. So I would say, yeah, if not Perth, that Saturday night's main event, I think it's got to be Perth though, man. But Saturday night's main event then, if not Perth. That's my 2 options. But AJ Lee does bait Becky into making the tag team match official at WrestlePalooza. It will be AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky and Seth freaking Rollins. And Punk got Seth. Caught him with one here. Penta versus Rusev, made by Adam Pearce. I love Penta. Fuck it. I love Penta. Yeah, I have, it's on Pharaoh. Yeah, it's Pharaoh. Yeah. We know. I know. I got a lot of shit here. I love Penta, so it's coming on. We're wearing it. There it is. Zero miedo. The mask is staying on the rest of the show because I'm not taking it off. I love Penta. I am absolutely a Penta fanatic. Penta goes up to Adam Pearce and says, Adam Pearce, we need to talk. Yeah, he speaks Spanish too, obviously. I don't have the translation here readily available. But he goes up to Adam Pearce and he goes, ever since coming to Raw, how come you don't love Penta like they love Penta? I loved it. Loved every second of that. Penta then says, I want a championship match. He calls Dirty Dom a pendejo. Valid. And he wants a championship match against Dirty Dom. Rusev interrupts this. Rusev says, you're going off the plans here. And Pearce is like, looking at him like, what the fuck plans are you talking about, Rusev? And those plans are to become a champion. And here we go. Rusev versus Penta on Monday Night Raw. The New Day once again get involved. Now, why is a tag team like the New Day, a historically iconic tag team like the New Day, getting involved in Penta's shit? Well, we know from the last few weeks, Penta beat Woods, lost to Kofi, beat Waller. Waller somehow still with the New Day, Big G. But they come out, kind of distract Penta. He gets hit with a Machka kick. Rusev beats Penta. Fucking hated this. But Penta has already lost to Dom thanks to the Judgment Day for the Intercontinental Championship. So what ends up happening here is now Rusev will more than likely get a title shot at Dirty Dom, which more than likely means, without the Judgment Day's help, Dom may drop the Intercontinental Championship. I do predict and believe that Dom will become the AAA Mega Campeon Friday at Worlds Collide when he takes on El Hijo del Vikingo for that title in Vegas. If I had it, I'd go. Just letting you guys know. Just know I'd be there if I had it. I don't have it like that right now. But Penta gets fucked over by the New Day. What could that possibly set up? Who could possibly help Penta fight the New Day? Also, this mask clearly is, honestly, this is well-made mask. Like the sequins are like, it's very well sewn. It's very much worth the price on WWE Shop. I will say though, obviously his probably, he can tie it. I have the tie. I could tie this. It's not tied. So it is a little funky on my head, but the sentiment remains. Who could help Penta? Well, his brother's on SmackDown tagging with Andrade, but the Wyatt Six have mentioned that their plans are to basically take the tag team division by storm and basically get rid of the tag teams that don't belong. they've already started now. We've seen the Street Profits start to kind of second guess and doubt one another and their brotherhood, and they've picking up losses here and there. So that very well could happen. That could be the fate of Andrade and Phoenix. And that puts us right in time for maybe, just maybe, at some point, this is my theory now, that Penta will finally have enough with the numbers game of the New Day and Big G and call up Phoenix and Andrade maybe for a six-man tag match, or Andrade and Phoenix will have been broken up by that point, and Phoenix will come to the aid of Penta, reuniting the Lucha Brothers and getting the dream match that we never thought we'd ever see. Sorry, Big E, I wish you were here for this one, but Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus Penta and Rey Fenix, the Lucha Brothers, in a dream tag team match 5 to 10 years ago you never thought would have happened. That is my prediction. All right. We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost to the finish line here, folks. The Mikecap is a time-constrained show because Mike is hungry and Mike wants to eat dinner as well as see his beautiful girlfriend. Nikki Bella, made by Adam Pearce versus Asuka. Interesting development with that as well. Nikki Bella and Rhea were backstage after this match, kind of with Asuka before the match, and Asuka is very mean right now towards Rhea and Nikki and anybody who is kind of taking away from Io. So I'm under the impression that Asuka will turn on Io, and Asuka will cost Io the world title match against Stephanie at WrestlePalooza, and Stephanie will become the world champion. That's my prediction now. I'm locking that in. I will stay on that. I will stand on business on that. Stand on business. But Nikki Bella versus Asuka did happen. Asuka does beat Nikki Bella with the Asuka lock. Very decent, okay match here. Nothing to write home about. I had to take my dog out. I enjoy AJ Lee's work as a person. I also enjoy her as a mentally crazy person myself. Hell yeah. I love that, Toby. That would be an amazing tag match. Odd with the contract signing not happening. Yeah, that was supposed to happen last night. That did get scrapped. Triple H was on McAfee's show today saying he didn't know why that didn't happen. He thought it did happen. I don't believe a fucking word he says at all whatsoever. But this match happened, which was good because if you look at it, right, if we look at Raw, we start off with, your first match is obviously the most impactful match, gets the crowd. Your main event is your most important match because it captivates your crowd and sends them home happy. Your co-main event and your second match were both women's matches. So I see what they're doing. They're mirroring the booking. Men's, women's, segment, men's, other tag team division, women's, men's. They're mirroring the division. But I think we do see Lucha Bros New Day. I do think Asuka cost Io that world title match at Palooza next weekend. And I think Stephanie Vaquer will become the fastest woman to hold the NXT North American and the fastest woman to become a main roster world champion. I think she will hold that record. I don't know what Bianca's is. I think Bianca has it as of now, or I believe Paige maybe has it. But I think Paige has it because Paige literally called up and won the Divas title the next night. So it might be Paige. She still might hold that record, but I think those are going to be my hot takes there. Asuka cost Io, Palooza, Stephanie, Women's World. The main event, LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. Now, he wanted Charles Bronson. He wanted Braun Breaker. He wanted Bronson Reed. He wanted LeBron James. He wanted Bronny James. If their name was Braun, he wanted it. He called up Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman let it go to voicemail. He called up the Brawny Man, but the Brawny Man was cutting trees and making paper towels for all of you. LA Knight, Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beats him clean as a whistle. 3, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. And of course, Braun Breaker comes out. They try to stomp LA Knight. The Usos come out, make the save, and Jey Uso drops LA Knight, which was shocking to say the least. I will now de-pentamask. As you see, the hair is crazy now. The hair gets crazy. Now I have wild hair. But, yeah, LA Knight takes another big L here. The L in LA Knight is starting to stand for L. What are we going to do? When the iron was hot, WWE failed to strike. Okay? They failed to strike. You could have had him win Money in the Bank over a year ago when Damian Priest won Money in the Bank. When did Tommy? I love that. Thank you, Dami. I appreciate you screenshotting that for the world to see. Because if they didn't watch it, they have no idea what's happening. And now that image is going to completely put them in a blender. And they're going to be like, all right, we got to watch this fucking crazy Italian guy talk about wrestling. And yes, for my boys at Championship Culture, the chest stare has been out the whole time. You just can't see it with the mic. Maybe I go here, but then you can't hear me. So I got to go up. Anywho, need a heel Knight and heel Uso. Well, I don't know, man. Jimmy even told Jay, he's like, you're not sounding like Jay. You're sounding like Roman. And Jay's like, is that such a bad thing? And Jimmy was like, oh, hold on, bro. You know, Jay's more serious now. Jay understands what Roman went under as the tribal chief, as the head of the table, as the provider for the Samoan family, the dynasty. You carry that dynasty with you. That's your blood. It's serious in these streets. Jimmy's fun-loving, having fun, fucking around. Jay's mad serious. Jay's won a world title. Jay's been IC champion. Jimmy hasn't. Jimmy doesn't know what that pressure does to a man, and you're seeing it firsthand because Jay has nothing to do, wants nothing to do with LA Knight. They just fought in that fatal four-way just a few weeks ago at Clash. We know the world title picture is very wide open right now. You could make arguments that AJ Styles could be involved. You obviously know Seth's the champion. CM Punk's there. Jey Uso could still be in the world title picture, even if he's tagging with his gym brother at WrestlePalooza. That was made official. It will be PB&J Security, Braun and Braun versus Jimmy and Jay, the Usos at WrestlePalooza. Jay has lost his air as a face. I think at this point I would like Jay. Plus, Jay wants a redo with Jimmy. I think that's what it comes down to. I think it'll come down to them having this reuniting at WrestlePalooza, and I think Jimmy will cost them the match or something, and I think Jay will crash out and super kick Jimmy, and we'll get that match again. Because Jay will say, Jimmy, you're fucking up, man. You're not taking this serious. Like, you could be a champion. You could have been U.S. champion. You could have been world champion, but you're not. You're not the champion. You did nothing. You fucked around the entire time that we have been apart. Look at what I did. Be more like me. And that could maybe cause Jimmy to crash out on his brother. So it could go either way here. But I think Braun and Braun beat the Usos if the Usos end up having tension. If not, the Usos get the win, and maybe, we'll see how that kind of plays out. The bloodline really reminds me of a mafia family type thing, Godfather type thing. That's the problem, Toby. And here's been the big problem for me. This is completely unrelated to anything happening here now, but it has always concerned me with the family, the D'Angelo family in NXT. Obviously, if you're not up to date in NXT, or if you know what I'm talking about, then you know the D'Angelo family has corrupted. It is gone. Stax is on his own. Luca's on his own. Tony D's on his own. We haven't seen Tony D in weeks. They did a very Sopranos ending. And if you haven't seen The Sopranos, it's been out for over two and a half decades. So it's not a fucking spoiler. Basically, the ending of The Sopranos is left up to the interpretation. Basically, Don't Stop Believing by Journey is playing. Tony Soprano is with his family. They're all pulling up. And the next thing you know, the screen goes black. We hear the door open, the bell goes off, and the screen goes black. Years and years, people have speculated like, oh, that's just, they leave it up for interpretation, this and that. Basically, Tony Soprano dies. If you go and watch back the season, he's basically killed at this point. He gets shot in the head right there in front of his family. A lot of the times, people have theorized that that's actually the perspective of the family. A lot of people have theorized that when the screen goes to black, that's you're in Tony's perspective, and the world went black because it happens like that. Usos get the win, then they turn, maybe. We need a Uso heel run like last year. It's long overdue. The problem with that is WWE is smart when it comes to the financials. The guy makes hand over foot money for them with the Yeet merch. Dude, I have them somewhere. I don't know where they are right now. I have the Yeet armbands. I'm a grown-ass fucking man, and I have Yeet armbands for Jey Uso, and I sit here yeeting and shit, yeeting all over myself half the night. But he's a merch printer. You can't turn him heel because then he can't do the yeet shit. Because why, as a heel, you don't want that same reaction. Leave the glove, take the Ula Fala. Fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it. But the bloodline, like Toby said, it's very Godfather, very mafia. And that's what the D'Angelo family is. And that's what the family was, which concerns me on the jump when it comes to Tony D not being in NXT. Does that mean I am going to lose my up in your face, ignorant Italian, turn to the roof of the mob boss? Because I love that character. It's silly, it's stereotypical, but it's a fun character to have in wrestling, especially when you could do the cool things that they were doing with the restaurant and the putting people in the trunk and making them swim with the fishes. And a long time there, you'd have a feud with the family, and then they'd make you sleep with the fishes, and then you end up on the main roster. Happened to Pretty Deadly. It was like a way to write you to the main roster. But that's what worries me. If they were to bring the D'Angelo family and Tony D, the Don, to the main roster, it's going to feel like the Godfather, and it's going to feel like the Bloodline story, because the Bloodline story is in fact very similar to a mafia mob family. It is. You have the Don, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief. You have the consigliere, who was Paul Heyman, right? You had the enforcer, Solo Sikoa. You had the right-hand man, who was Jey Uso. Those things, if you look at like a mafia mob boss family dynamic, they check the list, they check the buckets. How do you do it with the actual Italian guy on the roster and give him an Italian family? I don't know. Time will tell, but that's my unrelated sidebar of the E's. It's very Godfather. It is very Godfather, right? You watch Godfather 1, right? The Don. We'll look at the second one. Michael takes over as the Don. The third one we don't talk about. Godfather 3 was not that good. We don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. There was only 2. It was the 1 and 2. That was it. But that's what happened. And I think you could make that argument that at some point, Jey Uso takes over as the tribal chief. Anything is possible. The Bloodline story will go on forever. The Bloodline story has now become WWE's longest term story in terms of character development and in terms of content produced. It is now going on its 5th year. It'll be year 6 next year. Vito is Roman. Michael. Yeah. Yep. Michael is Jay. You can make that argument. Vito is Roman. So interesting to see, but at the same time, Raw, getting back to at hand, Raw was good last night. And Raw next week in Springfield has been crazy. It's going to be crazy. Rick and Mark will be there. We will have a Mikecap, which we'll be celebrating. It'll be the first time. The first time is now for the Mikecap, when we celebrate John Cena, and on these last couple dates here. So if you know a friend, like we know Over the Top Talk, we know one of them is going to be there, maybe at the TD Garden, maybe even wasn't, maybe at their MSG show. Hit me up, fellas, if you end up going to the shows, because I want to talk to you. I want to see your footage. I want to show the world, and we want to talk about and celebrate John Cena. If you know people who have been to the past shows, I was at the Phoenix show. I'll have one that I'll talk about Phoenix. If you have people who are at the John Cena Farewell Tour Chicago Friday night, call me up. Tell them to call me up. Hit me up on MOWM_podcast across social. Tell them to slide in my DMs. And if they want to be on the Nightcap, their first time is now, for the last time is now, for the John Cena Farewell Tour. So we've got some content coming your way. Worlds Collide watch along Friday during Worlds Collide, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I believe the event starts 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for me. No Friday night SmackDown Nightcap, but Worlds Collide watch along will happen across social media, Boom Broadcast, as well as my Twitter and my YouTube, just like tonight's show. Now you're good, Toby. That's what we're here for. Michael is solo. I see that point. Monday Night Raw, good show. We'll see how the rest of the, if you are attending a Cena final appearance, let's go. Share your content. Let's collab with Mike. Exactly. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you have been to a Cena retirement tour show, hit me up. I want to talk to you about it. I want to see your footage. I want to hear your experience. And I want to hear us celebrate the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, John Cena. Just a kid from West Newbury, Massachusetts. Cena's last time is now. Your first time is now. That's how we're going to end the show here tonight, guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys here later this week for the watch along. Peace.